All right, folks, we're back for another College of Arts and Humanities podcast. Today we have an art prof, Mr. Dr. Hall.
Mr. Hall.
Mr. Hall, you're obviously a professor here.
Yes.
What do you do in the art department? Do you teach? Do you administrate? What's going on?
Okay, I am a professor of art.
Okay.
I teach painting and drawing in the capstone, senior capstone course, which is a portfolio preparation course. And I'm coordinator of the art area. I kind of help faculty and administrative duties as needed.
Okay. So you say coordinator of the art area. Is that the person who picks all the cool art you'll have on display in the car building?
Well, it's a team effort over there. So the car building, we have a small gallery, Gallery 193, that we have exhibitions in. And we have faculty and committees that work on selecting artists for those venues.
Okay.
And then upstairs we have the spine area, and that's student work that is completed during the semester.
Well, I know I'm not in the car building much. Yeah. I took Baby's first art appreciation course. I haven't really been in there much, but the times I have been upstairs, you guys have had some beautiful pieces just around. I was amazed, particularly some of the statues and the paintings you guys have is incredible.
Yeah.
So, do you is there a criterion for what gets put in that Gallery 193, or is it kind of just obviously it's art? It's hard to quantify art.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Gallery 193, we invite local, regional, and national, and sometimes international artists to show in there. And we have about 6 shows per year in that gallery during the regular semesters. And in the summer, we have some student shows.
Okay.
That is also the gallery that we have the senior capstone exhibitions. And so generally there's 2 or 3 exhibitions that include graphic design exhibitions and studio art exhibitions.
Okay. So that senior capstone, can you talk to us a little bit about what is supposed to go in there, or what a student what one of them would look like? Is it kind of just assorted art pieces, or are they themed?
No. Well, the capstone course is preparing students to be professional artists, and there's 3 things that professional artists really need. One, they need to be able to write about their work, so they write a bio and they write a statement about their work. The second thing is they need to be able to speak about it orally, give a presentation.
Yeah.
And so we have a PowerPoint presentation that they do to the community of artists. It's a big deal to them.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
So they get up in front of about 80 to 100 people and present their work. The third thing, of course, is they have to exhibit their work publicly. And so we have these requirements where they put it together an exhibition in the gallery. That's generally a group project, but they learn how to select the work for the exhibition. They learn about promotional materials, the poster, the labeling, the gallery text, all that, the lighting, and how to arrange it. And so it's generally focused on either a graphic design group or a studio focus group.
Okay. I'm a comm student, so all of that kind of came into my head naturally, but I can imagine for art majors that can be kind of challenging sometimes, taking your thoughts and opinions about your piece and presenting it in a way that will get other people to appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm not, I don't want to stereotype anybody, but art students tend to be kind of introverts.
Yeah.
Because they work in the studio alone often, or in small groups and things like that to make their work. It's a very sort of interior experience and process. So when it comes to that point when they have to actually share that work with the public, it is a challenge to them. And I let them know that, all the professors and even myself, we have the same challenges. I mean, in my own work, it's very private when I'm making it, but then I have to, present it out in the public, display it in an exhibition, perhaps talk about it in a lecture or whatever. It's just the way that professionals work.
Yeah.
I like to tell students too, you can make an art object, and that object can be put in your closet. But if you make a work of art, it goes out and it's working in society.
Mm-hmm.
It's creating culture.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Well, it's kind of the whole intention behind the field, correct?
Right.
We're taking these things that one person is thinking and feeling and experiencing and putting it in a medium where other people can understand it.
Right. Yeah.
So a little bit about like your background, both as a teacher and an artist. Like what kind of drew you to not only art, but then teaching art later in your life?
Well, I think, I've always been interested in art, and on a personal level, it's very fulfilling.
Yes.
Yeah, and the older I have gotten, I've realized that the creative process is kind of like prayer.
Yeah.
I have to go within myself in a very authentic and honest way, and it takes me to the source of creation.
Mm-hmm.
And out of that source, I'm able to create. And then having that experience, I realized what a transformative experience it was for myself, that I want to share that opportunity with other students. Now, that's my personal opinion, my
Mm-hmm.
personal way that I express that.
Yeah.
But I do know that anyone who's involved in the creative process, creative activity, they find that very fulfilling. And there's a tremendous degree of self-development and
Mm-hmm.
self-discovery through that process. And I felt like being an art teacher as well as an artist, combining those two things, allows me to make a contribution. And not only you get a paycheck because it's a job,
Yeah.
but also you get the compensation of working with people,
Mm-hmm.
working with young people, and seeing their lives transform through that process.
I think doing this show, we talked a little bit about this before we started recording. We've interviewed a lot of arts and humanities people. So we've talked to now Dr. Scott from the comm department. We've talked to a number of history department folks, and we've talked to a number of art department folks. And a kind of a theme when I asked them that question, because I try to ask people that question if they come in here, is essentially what you just said, is they love their subject and they want other people to love it in the same way they do, or at least try to help people love it in the same way they do. And it's one of those, I think, especially with art, because to my understanding, and feel free to tell me if I'm wrong here, like you said, art's highly personal, right? It's a very singular sort of reflective medium. And compared to something like what I do, which is very, outside, I talk to people basically, it sort of helps widen my perspective on how people live their lives, right? It's something I kind of love about doing this show, is just we get to talk to people who are technically in the same area of study I am, but have such a broad range of like experiences in academics.
Right.
And it's one of those that, I don't know, it says a lot to me about perspective. I value perspective on life a lot. And I'm trying to compliment you by saying I think your perspective is really cool.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I think is valuable about being involved in the arts. And another thing that has attracted to me is the sense of freedom
Mm-hmm.
that artists or anybody in the creative fields can experience. I like to say there's a place for everyone in the arts, and it's a field where there's a great acceptance for diversity,
Mm-hmm.
and I really value that.
Well, that's another thing. I value that greatly as well. It's kind of like I said, I like that kind of diverse spectrum of perspectives, and it's something I think we also strive for in the comm department. I'd like it to be, but all the art majors I talk to, admittedly, the limited number of them I can actually I can rip away from their projects, generally tends to be very nice people, and B, have incredibly unique perspectives on life and incredibly interesting life stories, right? Like obviously I'm not going to name names. I'm not just going to like spew someone's life story on air like that. But if I can say so myself, I think you guys are doing a fabulous job.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And I want to mention again, it's a team effort over
Absolutely.
there. We got a great art historian, Carolyn Kontz. We got Edwin Quinkle in graphic design. We have a new printmaker, Jackie Nagueros. We got some great foundation people, Kat Bunker, Susanna Kluster,
Well, we
John
interviewed,
Cleric in sculpture.
we interviewed Dr. Kontz and Mrs. Kendrick last week, and that was
Jessica
a fabulous
Kendrick,
interview.
Yes.
My one art class was Mrs. Kendrick, and it was fabulous.
Yeah.
I come from kind of like obviously I'm a comm major, but I started in history. It's my minor right now, and sort of getting like where our wires cross with like historical interest was fascinating to me. I loved talking to them.
Yeah.
So you mentioned like the sort of whole art department is a team effort. Do you guys do anything as a department? Like you mentioned those student exhibitions, but do you guys have anything coming up? Anything like our listeners could go out and go to or go see some of these student pieces?
Well, yeah.
Pieces?
So right now in Gallery 193, which is our smaller gallery in the Carr Building, we have the 7th annual art student scholarship exhibition, where it's a competition and students can win art scholarships. Coming up shortly, we will have the National Ceramic Symposium held here on the ASU campus in collaboration with the Meyer Museum here on campus and the San Angelo Museum of Fine Arts. In June or July, I think the art faculty is having an art faculty exhibition at the San Angelo Museum of Fine Arts.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can see all the art faculties work together at the SAMFA.
SAMFA, okay. And so the stuff here on campus, if you're just a student, you can just go and look at it. Obviously, I know some of those events you'd have to go and like attend, like the ceramic symposium.
Yeah.
But with like your galleries and things,
Yeah, that's all free.
Yeah, you just,
I hope the people that are listening understand that what we're doing in the art department we want to share publicly. And so Gallery 193 is free. We have lots of exhibitions over there. We are scheduled to have exhibitions at the Meyer of Sculpture. We just had a major sculpture show with Tony Wright, who's a sculptor from Fort Worth. We're working on the Edwards Trust lectureship in painting, which will bring nationally recognized painters here for next fall. And coming up also in collaboration with the Ceramic Symposium, we have ceramic exhibitions of visiting ceramic artists, as well as our national student competition, as well as exhibitions of our art students here at ASU. And that will be in the Meyer Museum.
That's incredible. I can't imagine being an art student and being able to go see your work in a museum.
Yeah, that's a beautiful space over there.
Meyer's incredible.
Yeah, so we're really lucky to have that opportunity to exhibit student work as well as visiting artists.
Well, and I want to say Meyer, the entrance for students here in Angelo State is free, I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah. So I believe that sculpture exhibit, I think I went and looked around at it. One of our friends used to work over at Meyer. So we would go and visit her and walk around and see their stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to say I saw their sculpture exhibit. It's like the twisted pieces of metal.
Yes, yeah.
It was fabulous.
Yeah.
We got to get the curator of Meyer in here. Sorry, that just popped into my head.
Becca.
We got to get her in here. I'm sure she'd be a fabulous interview.
She's great.
Yeah. Moving off sort of your professional life, do you have anything like you do in your personal life that's interesting or you want to talk about?
Oh, well, I always talk about my pets, my
pets?
dogs. Like, me and my wife, we've rescued and fostered Chihuahuas.
So
that takes up a good amount of our time. We have an older house that we purchased, and we work on that. We have pretty busy lives, actually.
Yeah.
As a faculty member, you really have to juggle your private and your professional life. As any faculty member has to do teaching, research, and service. And so, my creative life is kind of, stuck in there when I can find the time. And so it's a challenge.
Yeah. Well, juggling passion for rescuing chihuahuas and like professional life sounds difficult. Like having time to slot in, any kind of creative process outside of work.
Well, I get good support from my wife,
Mm-hmm.
and she does a great job helping out and supporting me. But that's such a challenge of it,
Yeah.
We just got, and it's a full life.
Yeah.
There's never a dull moment.
No. Well, sometimes I think to myself, am I too busy? And then I go, my life would be so much more boring if I was doing less things.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, when I do have those moments when I can do painting and make my own art, those points are kind of like meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, another thing I do is I teach Tai Chi classes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's another point in my life where I could find that sense of calm and relaxation.
That's interesting. Are they like public, or do you have to would someone have to book you?
I teach them on Wednesday night over at the Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
Yeah, and a beginning class and an advanced class.
So if you're interested in Tai Chi, I suppose go to that, just attend, show up.
Yeah, it's free.
Fabulous.
Free. Anybody wants to come and see what it's about, and they're always welcome.
So I'm going to be very honest. I don't know much about Tai Chi. It's the sort of like the movement based.
Yes.
Kind of like that. What kind of not what drew you, but what keeps you coming back to it?
To Tai Chi?
Yeah.
Well, I started meditating a long time ago when I was about 18. And so because I wanted to develop myself, and I wanted to find a sense of inner peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have been interested in kind of Asian culture and Asian philosophies. And Tai Chi is recognized as one of the major Chinese martial arts, but it's also a mode of healing, and so if the practitioners of Tai Chi recognize it's kind of like moving meditation.
Yeah,
you're going to experience a degree of inner peace and calmness and harmony, a balance between the mind, the body, and the breath. And so it's a very profound sort of practice.
Seems very serene to me.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, we are running up on our time. Do you have anything you want to leave our audience with? Anything you want to shout out before we leave out?
Just invite everybody to come over to the Car Building and the Mayer Museum and the San Angelo Museum of Fine Arts, as well as the Chicken Farm here in San Angelo. We have a tremendous art community here, art in uncommon places. In ASU, the faculty and the students, we all get involved in those organizations. And, there's so many free things here that people can take advantage of. And
I want to echo that. Go look at student and faculty art.
Yes.
It's always incredible when I go and see it. So thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, sir. That's where we're going to cut off. We will see you guys next time. I don't know who it's going to be. I never know who it's going to be. I kind of just they go, hey, Bryan, you want to interview this guy? And I say, yes.
You know what, Bryan? Someone needs to interview you.
Hey, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to graduate, and they're going to have to, send some poor freshman in here for me to grill.
Yes.
That'll be fabulous. Yeah. But we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Bryan. This is Mr. Hall. Thank you so much.